Good morning, I am Brian Downs and this is a Republic if you can keep it. It's just about 9 o'clock in the morning on the 4th of September 2025. And so, the Trump cabal has now launched itself into the extrajudicial killing phase of its authoritarian fantasies. Just recently, there was a small boat off the coast of Venezuela in international waters. Venezuela, should be pointed out, is on the northern coast of South America. That's a different continent than North America, where the United States is located. This boat was traveling along at pretty good speed when it was blown to splinters by a Hellfire missile fired by some American military vehicle. The Trump administration is happy to announce this as if they've done something very clever. There were a lot of drugs on that boat, mumbled Donald Trump in one of his first public appearances after several days off the grid, probably with some kind of health crisis that's been covered extensively, obviously, in the media. This is a man who can barely talk anymore, much less walk a straight line down a red carpet, but is still got the nuclear codes. In any case, this boat off the coast of Venezuela in international waters, which is to say 1,000 nautical miles or so away from the United States, blasted to splinters with an American missile. All 11 human beings on board fed to the fishes. Why? Well, says Donald Trump and Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth, that comical bag of garbage. You see, the boat was a drug boat. It was loaded down with cocaine and other narcotics, and it was headed for the United States. Where do we start? Number one, this is totally illegal. This is a violation of international law. The boat in question, even assuming that it was a drug boat belonging to the drug cartel of Tren de Aragua, which is based in Venezuela. Even assuming that's the case, this is totally illegal. It was not a warship, did not seem to be armed, offered no violence to anyone. The United States is not at war with Venezuela. No attempt was made to interdict the boat or stop the boat or board the boat. Of course, for decades now, it's been a matter of routine for the U.S. Coast Guard, operating somewhere near the coast of the United States, not 1,000 miles away from it, to interdict drug boats, arrest the crew, seize the contents. That wasn't done in this case. No, in this case, we just detonated the thing with a missile and killed 11 people who were given no chance whatsoever to surrender. Totally illegal. If this boat had in fact been loaded down with tons of cocaine and had in fact been 500 yards off the beach at Daytona, it would be totally legal to blast it with a Hellfire missile. The illegal narcotics trade is treated as a law enforcement matter. It always has been. This was not a law enforcement operation. This was a military operation where the one goal was to wreck the target and kill everyone standing within 50 meters of it. That was a bit of a poor choice of words. Obviously, the boat was on the ocean. No one was standing within 50 meters. But the 11 people on board were killed. Again, totally illegal. What we call an extrajudicial killing. Pete Hegseth, the turd with legs, Secretary of Defense, a man well known for his incompetency, cheerfully makes an announcement saying, hey, it was a drug boat. We knew it was a drug boat, so we blew it up. It's a new day, says Pete Hegseth, where evidently we're going to be detonating boats in international waters because Pete Hegseth tells us that they're full of cocaine. This is, of course, one of the standard tactics of the authoritarian, of the dictator, of the strongman, of the regime that wishes to extinguish free will. Go ahead and look at all the usual suspects: Hitler, Stalin, Lenin, Mao, Idi Amin, Pol Pot, Castro, probably several of the Roman emperors, Caligula comes to mind, announce that your nation is beset by serious and difficult problems. Then tell everyone that these serious and difficult problems can only be solved once you and your immediate minions and cronies have the ability to kill whomsoever at which you point. Once we're not, weighed down by things like checks and balances or, courts, by law, we'll be able to solve this problem with brute violence. Now, notice that since President Nixon first declared the war on drugs somewhere like 60 years ago, no American president has said, hey, let me just shoot my way out of this problem. Why? Because it doesn't work. Tren de Aragua is a multi-billion-dollar operation. All the drug cartels are. Okay, this boat got blown up. They will simply change their tactics. They will simply change their strategies. They will simply change the way they deliver drugs to the United States. This is how it's always worked. Treating the war on drugs as a police problem, as an enforcement problem, has been a ridiculous and spectacular and expensive and bloody failure. Drug abuse is a medical problem. Addiction is a medical problem. We need to treat it that way. That's where we will get results. But dialing it up from police enforcement to a military operation where we simply blow things up. Hey, you know what the problem is here? We haven't been using enough brute force. No. Ludicrous, idiotic, totally illegal. Will not produce the alleged results of reducing the problem of illegal drugs in the United States. But obviously does allow these idiot criminals who occupy the Oval Office, the White House, to set the precedent that they can simply destroy whatever annoys them, regardless of international law, the rules of ethics, or good sense. This is an impeachable offense. If this is not a high crime, I don't know what is. Pete Hegseth should again resign immediately. I don't know how many scandals and gaffes and screw-ups that guy's put his foot in so far, but here's another one. Donald Trump should be impeached immediately for this crime against international law, which cost the lives of 11 men.